They laughed at him. You know, full-on smirks, the kind that tells you exactly where you stand in their world. When he walked into the lobby with his little girl trailing behind, both of them soaked to the bone, rainwater pooling around their shoes. The staff barely glanced up, busy tapping on screens, acting like they didn't even see the storm outside or the shivering kid holding onto her dad's hand for dear life. They told him, straight-faced, that the hotel was fully booked, never realizing the guy they were brushing off actually owned every chandelier, every doorknob in that place. Wild, right? They say don't judge a man by his shoes, but here, that night, they were judging by everything. His coat, the muddy pants, his daughter's silence. Nobody bothered to ask his name. On that stormy Thursday, Dorian Tate wasn't wearing his title. He was just a dad, looking for shelter for his little girl, and the world saw him as a nobody. Let me back up a sec. A few hours earlier, Dorian had wrapped up a secret site check in the next city over. A thing he did often, showing up alone, no entourage, no limo, just himself and 6-year-old Zoe riding shotgun, calling them Papa missions. She loved those little adventures, loved the way her dad could vanish into a crowd, play detective in his own empire. But this time, the universe didn't cooperate. The sky cracked open, the rain turned biblical, and to top it off, their car sputtered out 2 blocks from the Lexington Grand, one of his flagship hotels. We'll just check in here for the night. Pumpkin, he'd promised, not knowing he was about to get a front row seat to how strangers treat you when they think you have nothing to offer. So, they walk in, drenched, cold, Zoe's teeth chattering, Dorian's heart pounding with that low, anxious dad panic you try to hide from your kid, and the front desk barely looks at them. Sorry, sir, we're at full capacity. The receptionist says, flat as a pancake, eyes locked on her monitor like she's defusing a bomb. Dorian asks, gentle, polite, if they might check again. Maybe there's a cancellation. Maybe they could squeeze in a child and her dad just this once. The woman sighs, like he's asking for the moon, and another staffer chimes in. We've told you already. There are no rooms. Zoe's little hand is ice cold in his. That's when a man in a tailored suit, Bluetooth glowing in his ear, breezes by. The manager, you can just tell. He sizes them up, lips curling. Sir, this is a high-end property. Maybe you'd be more comfortable at one of the motels down the street. No eye contact, just a gesture at the door. You ever feel a switch flip inside? Dorian's not angry, not yet. Just disappointed, the kind of heavy, world-weary disappointment that settles in your bones. He thanks them, takes Zoe's hand, and walks back out into the downpour, the manager watching him with a half-smile. Like, there's another problem solved. But Dorian doesn't go far. He ducks across the street, into the neon warmth of a battered coffee stand, orders a hot chocolate for Zoe. Then he pulls out his phone. Can you patch me through to the Lexington Grand's general line? He asks his assistant, who's used to this tone, the quiet before a storm. Hi, this is Mr. Dorian Tate. Please inform your manager I'll be arriving shortly. I'd like a walkthrough of the property and a record of front desk behavior. He hangs up, looks at Zoe, and winks. 10 minutes later, it's chaos back at the hotel. A black car skids to the curb, and out steps the district manager. Heels clicking, eyes blazing, shouting for the manager. Where is he? Staff is frozen. The manager's gone ghost pale. The assistant points across the street, and when Dorian comes back in, Zoe in his arms, the whole lobby goes silent, air sucked out of the room. The district manager rushes to apologize. Mr. Tate, we're so sorry, sir. We had no idea. But Dorian just holds up his hand. Save it. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. This hotel, this brand, was built for travelers, for dignity, for families like mine, like yours, who just need a place to breathe for the night. And tonight, what I saw was judgment, not hospitality. The manager stammers, tries to explain, but Dorian looks him dead in the eye. How many families have you turned away? How many parents have you made feel small, just because they didn't look the part? The staff stares at the floor. Zoe squeezes his hand. Come on, sweetheart. Let's go home. But then, out of nowhere, Zoe tugs on his sleeve and whispers, Papa, are you going to fix this place? The room goes even quieter, if that's possible. Dorian kneels to her level, nods. Yeah, baby. I will. The next morning, the storm's cleared, but the aftershocks are just starting. Half the front desk staff is reassigned. Some let go, others sent to mandatory sensitivity training. The manager? Not fired. Not exactly. Dorian sends him to volunteer 3 months at a local homeless shelter. Redemption, not revenge. People learn more from humility than from punishment. Dorian tells the new team. The real test is how you treat someone who can't offer you anything. He means it, too. Over the next few weeks, reviews spike. The cold marble lobby starts to feel warmer. The staff greets every traveler like they might be the CEO in disguise, or just someone's scared little girl. And one quiet weekend, Dorian and Zoe come back. No announcement, no drama, just a dad and his daughter. This time, the smiles are real. The hot cocoa is waiting before Zoe even asks. And nobody, absolutely nobody, asks if they have a reservation. They sit by the window, rain drumming gently on the glass, and watch the world go by. Funny thing is, sometimes it takes a storm to wash out what's rotten so something better can grow. But here's the kicker. Did it really change them? Or is it all just for show now that the boss is watching? You tell me, where's the line between hospitality and hypocrisy? Ever been in a place where you felt invisible, only to walk back in and suddenly everybody sees you? Yeah, that happened. Drop your thoughts below. Who was right? Who was wrong? What would you have done? I want to know if you believe people really change, or just change their faces. You know what's funny? After that weekend, I thought the whole thing would just fade away, like most corporate scandals do. A blip on the radar, some quick HR moves, maybe a new slogan about family values slapped on the wall. But it turns out, people don't forget nights like that, especially not the folks who watched it happen. For weeks, my phone blew up with messages from other hotel staff, concierge, housekeeping, even the night security guard, some apologizing, some just thanking me for calling it out. And I kept thinking, is this how it always goes? Do you have to wear a $3,000 suit and flash your last name just to be treated like a human being? Let me back up a sec. About a month after the storm, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, just a child's handwriting on the front. Inside was a crayon drawing, Zoe and me, standing in front of the Lexington Grand, the sun shining, everybody smiling. Tucked into the fold was a note. Thank you for standing up for my mom. She works at the desk. That one nearly knocked me flat. I called Zoe over and showed her, and she hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. You made it better, Papa, she whispered, and I swear, for the first time in a long time, I believed her, but not everyone saw it that way. Word got around. Other managers, rival hotels, even a couple of industry reporters trying to stir up a story. Some people thought I'd gone soft, punishing a manager with charity instead of a pink slip. You'll never change people's hearts, one of my old friends told me over coffee. You just scare them into acting right when you're watching. Maybe he was right. But then again, maybe he never spent a night in the rain with a shivering kid who just wanted to go home. About 2 months later, something happened that made me stop in my tracks. I'd come back from a late business dinner. Different city, different hotel, same old lobby smell. As I was checking in, the desk clerk looked up and froze, just for a split second. Then he smiled, genuinely, like he meant it. Good evening, sir. Welcome in from the rain, he said, and for a second I thought maybe he recognized me. But no, he had no idea who I was. He just saw a tired traveler. He offered me an extra towel, asked if I needed a late-night snack for my kid. I hadn't mentioned Zoe, but somehow he just knew. That's when it hit me. Sometimes all it takes is one story to ripple outward, change the temperature in a whole room, even if nobody knows the story's source. Maybe those little acts of decency, passed from hand to hand, really do add up. But of course, not everybody changes overnight. The old manager at the Lexington? I heard he finished his stint at the shelter and came back different, quieter, more careful, still wearing those sharp suits, but with less swagger, you know? One night, I got a text from him out of nowhere. It just said, "Thank you for the lesson. I needed it more than I knew." Never thought I'd see the day. Now, months later, Lexington Grand is the gold standard for the company. Review scores higher than ever, staff turnover way down, families coming in off the road, and leaving with smiles instead of stories about being turned away. Zoe still loves going on papa missions, but now, everywhere we go, she peeks over the front desk and whispers, "Do they know who you are?" And I just grin, shake my head, and tell her, "Let's hope they never need to." But here's the thing. Every time I walk into a new lobby now, I can't help but scan the faces. I wonder who's getting sized up, who's getting left out in the cold. I wonder if I'd have had the guts to stand up for a stranger if it wasn't my name on the building. And I think about that rainy night, about the people who laughed, the ones who watched, and the one little girl who just wanted a warm bed. So, tell me, do you think one moment can really change a whole company? Or does the world just keep spinning the same old way until the next storm rolls in? Maybe that's the question we should all be asking every time we see someone walk through the door looking like they don't belong. You know what I mean? If you've ever felt invisible or made someone else feel that way, drop your story below. I want to hear it. Maybe together, we'll figure out how to make the next lobby just a little warmer for the next tired soul coming in from the rain.